I'm Chef Mimmo from Orlando Foods, and I'm really excited to show you guys today a few of our products. Our Caputo Super Americana, one of my personal favorites, the Ciao Authentica tomatoes, and Lupara Bocconcini. So today we're going to be making a New York style pizza, but not just any New York style pizza. We're going to be making an artisanal one using these products. We're going to be baking it in an electric oven at 620 degrees for about 7 to 8 minutes. What makes this pizza artisanal is the fact that we are using all imported Italian ingredients to make the pie. So you may be wondering why I choose to use Italian ingredients on a New York style pizza. And my answers are very simple. One, it's the quality of the ingredients. Two, it's the consistency. For me, that's one of the most important parts, is knowing that day after day, with each delivery, I'm getting the same exact product each time. And three, the most important of them all, is the flavor of the product. So this is our dough made with Caputo Super Americana. It has 65% hydration and has been fermenting for 48 hours. The reason why I chose Caputo Super Americana is because of its strength. At 15.25% protein and a W count of 380 to 400, this flour is perfect for more aggressive fermentations and more aggressive hydrations. You can easily go up to a 72 to 75% hydration using this flour. So as you can see, the dough has done its fermentation and has created this beautiful gluten structure, which is going to help us when we bake the pizza to give us that perfect crumb structure we're looking for. Okay guys, so now I want to talk to you about Ciao tomatoes. Before becoming the corporate chef for Orlando Foods, I actually owned delis and pizzerias for my entire life. The reason why I landed on Ciao is because they are a Southern Italian tomato. They are perfectly balanced with all natural ingredients and no added sugars. The one thing I love about Ciao tomatoes is that you can take a bite out of their plum tomato or a spoonful of their crush, and it tastes like you're taking a bite out of a tomato from Nona's backyard garden. So for my pizzas, I use Ciao Authentica, which is a whole peeled crushed tomato, doesn't have any seeds or skin in it. They're perfect for pizzas because of their beautiful consistency and amazing flavor. A salute. So now I want to talk to you guys about our frozen Torre Lupara buffalo mozzarella that comes from Casetta. Best application, they can be defrosted in the fridge for 2 days, and if you want to keep them moist, you can leave them in their own water, or you can remove them if you need to dry them out. Not only is the buffalo mozzarella perfect for pizzas, but it's also fantastic in many salads, appetizers, and main courses as well. Buon appetito! So, the beauty in the Caputo Super Americana is its strength. It makes it easier for novice pizza makers to use, but it also helps experienced pizza makers to perform longer fermentations and more aggressive hydrations on the dough. So here I'm going to show you a 48-hour dough. We're going to stretch it, and I'll show you how we top it. So right now what I'm doing is I'm pushing all the air and gases that were created during fermentation into the crust to get that nice, big, beautiful Neapolitan style cornicione. So this right here, slapping the dough, is a technique that is found in Neapolitan pizza making, and that is actually protected by UNESCO as an intangible form of history. So what I love most about using the Ciao Authentica tomatoes is that they are packed in a tomato puree and not water like most. It's going to give me more coverage on my pie while using less tomatoes. And in the end, we're saving money. So right now, like a traditional New York pie is made, I'm starting in the center and I'm working my tomatoes around to the edge of the pie. Super important to remember about a New York style pie is the more you can keep out of the middle, the less flop you're gonna have. So right now, because we're using buffalo mozzarella and we're cooking in a lower temperature oven, we're gonna part bake this halfway and then pull it out of the oven and finish the buffalo mozzarella. That way we get a nice even melt and we're not burning the cheese. So this is our final product. I part baked it for 4 minutes at 620 degrees Fahrenheit. removed it from the oven, added the buffalo mozzarella, and put it back in for another 3 minutes. Once I took it out, I added my fresh basil and a nice shaving of grana padano. As you can see, our beautiful crumb structure is all there, and that comes from our gluten network. And just because I use imported Italian ingredients, you still, when you're having a New York slice, always have to fold it. Bon appetit, guys, and thanks for hanging out with us.
From Napoli to the US, we followed the road of pizza, to let people know the Neapolitan soul of Italian excellence. Our company has a really strict story related to Naples and related to family value. Having a meal in Naples is different than every part of the world, because if you see Naples, you have everyday connection with the pizza makers, with the pastry shop, with the pasta makers, with a lot of wonderful artisan. And on the other side, we have a great knowledge in the field of the wheat, in the field of selection of the wheat, in the field of international port, because here we have a port. So the international connection with Napoli. So that's why we always say that have a meal in Naples is different than every part of the world.
The perfect flour doesn't really exist, but we got the perfect flour for the intended final use. Our milling process is given by a special pattern in which we try not to damage the raw material and try to find out a final target. It is pretty important for us in terms of quality of the product. That is to keep unvariated the ratio quality in between the field and the bag. And this is given by multiple steps of milling and sifting in which to try to apply the low pressure possible to maintain the heat of processes very low in order not to adulterate the product and keep its natural form. Another key point of our process is given even in advance from the raw material supply. Everything starts from this surrounding lab in which we make all kind of analysis and tests both on the wheat and on the final product. We test directly the dough properties, and everything is given by a blend of different wheat varieties that we supply all over the world, but especially in the national territory, on the European community. And we also own our fields in which we grow the Caputo wheat. It's a proper pattern that we had since about 7-8 years, and it gives the perfect characteristics to our flours in terms of aroma, mechanical properties, and of course the taste of Caputo. The Caputo secrets behind each flour is given by a very simple word: is naturalness, genuinity. We don't use any additives, addiction. We don't use any enzymes, any coagulants. Our wheat is of course GMO free. We try to represent our story, our products technically behind the natural world, and it's very important for us to give this also as an expression of flavors and aromas. The perfect flour doesn't really exist. We may say that we have a perfect flour for an intended and final use. So in the case of Neapolitan pizza, we have a standard recipe that needs a certain type of flour that supports a very long and stressful and artisanal process with all its characteristics. So let's say that Caputo found out a very good balance in between gluten network strength and elasticity and good handability and workability of the dough, and also a very good characteristics in terms of advantage of water retention during this very important phase of the artisanal kneading and baking process.
We produce an excellent product since more than 40 years. Our challenge is to improve ourselves every day. I worked in the tomato field. It is now 56 years, and I founded Ciao tomato factory, Compagnia Mercantile d'Oltremare. It is now 43 years. As you can understand, it is in my blood, the tomato. Everybody knows that the seeds of tomato arrived in Italy with Cristoforo Colombo, and the plant of tomato was utilized like ornament. But it was in the south of Italy where they start the production of eatable tomato.
Our blood is not blue, but red. Red like tomato. Our priority is quality. We want to fill every cans with our standard. We want a lot of well-peeled tomatoes in our cans, and we have to fill it with a really good and tasty sauce. You can see the color, you can see the consistency, and you can smell the aroma. The selection starts with an optical selection, continue with a manual selection. We have an expert woman how the Napolitan tradition teach. Our quality team check every phase of our process every 30 minutes. It is a high frequency to check the quality. This is the principal aspect for our tomatoes. Another main aspect is sustainability, because we want to participate this program for save the environment. We produce the 17% of our electricity necessity by solar panel. And another aspect is the water. We're using a lot of water for cleaning tomatoes, and water that we use in the first washing is recycled.
La nostra mozzarella di bufala è la più pregiata per le qualità del suo latte. Un'azienda agricola casearia Lupara fra un anno compie 40 anni e riceve il latte della famiglia Iemma, che si compone di 3 aziende, di Alfredo, Pinello e Cesare, i 3 fratelli, gli eredi di Ugo Iemma, che sarebbe il fondatore di tutto questo. La mozzarella di bufala nasce come prodotto molto artigianale, cioè lavorato a mano, filato a mano, eccetera, eccetera. Abbiamo seguito e cercato di migliorare in tutto e per tutte queste fasi, dove principalmente ci vuole una garanzia igienica alta, ma soprattutto non mortificare le doti di questo latte, e siamo riusciti nel tempo a garantire un processo industriale che valorizza il prodotto. La mozzarella di bufala ha un colore bianco porcellana, una consistenza medio elastica e non contiene carotene, ecco perché è più bianco del filo di latte. Contiene invece il fermento bulgaricus, che è un fermento molto pregiato e molto usato anche nello yogurt. Quindi c'è fermenti lattici vivi attivi. Un prodotto buono si fa da un latte buono. Sicuramente quello che rende unico questo prodotto della casearia Lupara è che c'è un rispetto della qualità a tutti i livelli. Iniziamo dalla coltivazione del terreno, alla mungitura, all'alimentazione del bestiame e nonché a tutti i processi produttivi. La mozzarella di bufala è un prodotto molto deperibile. Però siamo riusciti ad allungare molto la vita del prodotto con il sistema del congelamento.
Ci troviamo nell'azienda zootecnica Torre Lupara. Come in tutte le aziende del gruppo, anche in questa azienda si parte dal filo d'erba fino al latte. Questa azienda si sviluppa su circa 160 ettari di terra, principalmente si fanno 4 culture, erba medica, insilato di mais e fieni di varie tipologie, per migliorare la qualità del latte. Per noi è molto importante il concetto di felicità, che per noi è proprio anzi una filosofia. Il fatto di dare grandi spazi a disposizione degli animali, piscine per fare il bagno, cura maniacale nell'accrescimento dei vitellini, ma sono felici anche i nostri dipendenti, perché anche in azienda abitano più del 50-60% dei nostri dipendenti. Questo modo di lavorare crea una sinergia particolare fra uomo e animale. L'amore, ma soprattutto la passione e il lavoro che c'è dietro alle nostre mandrie è stato tramandato dal nonno, da mio padre, è stato tramandato da noi negli anni. Ognuno di noi, di ogni generazione, ha scoperto e ha inserito nel comparto zootecnico bufalino delle nuove tecnologie, dalla mungitrice meccanica, dal monitoraggio elettronico di tutti gli animali, dalla fecondazione artificiale, dal tipo di selezione degli animali. E tutto questo è frutto solo dell'enorme passione, dell'enorme amore per il nostro lavoro.